Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Heather, and on this channel we like to walk a very fine line between a shopping addicted makeup monster and a responsible adult with a makeup hobby. Now, I really enjoy eyeshadow singles, duochromes, multichromes, blush, highlight, lip gloss, basically everything except pressed glitter. And today we're going to be talking about the bundle of unused palettes that I have for the month of June. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick with me, we're getting into it right now. Alright, and if you have not been following along with this little project of mine throughout the year, basically what I'm doing each month is curating a bundle of unused palettes in my collection so that I can get through all of them by the end of the year. My goal is to make sure that everything in my collection by the end of the year has at least been touched, been loved, been played with. So this is how I'm trying to go about accomplishing that goal, because otherwise I just have a pile of unused palettes that is getting out of hand right now. So with each of the bundles, I am including one face product, so we'll talk about that in just a moment. For my eye look today, I am trying a new palette called Cradled in Ice by Fantasy Cosmetica. And then included in this month's collection, although this was not curated ahead of time, is any new palettes that I get in during the month that I haven't yet tried. So for this month, I also have the Amy Loves eyeshadow palette, and then her face palette. So these three are going to be added to my pile of things that I'm working on during the month. I'm sorry, I keep blinking really crazy, but I definitely have something in my eye that is very painful. Alright, so for my face palette for the month, I am going to be using the Michaela Pot 2 highlighter. And I hope I find some ways that I can use this, because this is really like, you've got a blue highlighter, a green highlighter, and then this like very gold highlighter. I suspect this will get the least use because it doesn't really match my skin tone. So I suspect these will be inner corners and toppers for sure. But I do want to get some use out of that. And then as far as eyeshadow palettes, I did put in for the Morphe Lisa Frank palette. Originally I bought this so that I could break it down and use the singles out of it, but then I never did. So I need to just go ahead and use this palette. Obviously, the greens, blues, purples are where my heart lies. I don't care as much about the red, orange, pinks, but I'm hoping to at least get some good use out of this part of the palette. I always had a soft spot in my heart for Lisa Frank until I actually started learning about Lisa Frank as a person, and apparently she is just a dreadful human being. So kind of sucks that she's like spoiling childhood memories, but in the meantime, I already have it. I already spent the money, so I might as well use it. Then we have the LA Girl Main Stage palette, and this is another like green, blue, purple kind of a number here. And I got this one a while ago, but I've not used it, so I need to actually dig in and use this one and see what I think of it. I think the formula for the metallics is pretty nice based on one of the other palettes in this collection that I have, but I haven't used this one, so we really need to try it. Then, not last Friday, Black Friday, but the Black Friday before, I picked this up and still haven't used it, so this needs to go on my to-do list. And it's kind of this jewel tone, deep, kind of grungy / neutral palette, so hoping to get some looks at least out of the greens and blues in here, maybe some of these champagne shades in here, we'll see. But I do think the palette itself is really pretty. I love the color story and the theme. Then I have two palettes from BH Cosmetics. One was my kind of olivey green for the month. The other was my sort of neutral for the month, or at least a neutral for the month. This is the Hangin' in Hawaii, which is sort of this just warm tone, beigey neutral kind of shades. This is definitely not my vibe, but the pinks in here caught my eye. And for some reason I still bought it just to kind of complete my collection. So here it is. And then Avocado Toast, I think I've used once or twice, but I need to actually like form a thought on the palette and then get it out of my to try pile and into my collection. So this is going to go on for the month, and this is going to be kind of my olivey green contribution to my palette bundle. Then I did also include the Sea Color Pastel Garden palette. This is a dupe of the, what is it, the Natasha Denona Pastel palette. Looks like that on the inside. So I'm hoping at least the mattes are worthwhile. The metallics look very private label, very kind of standard, so I won't be too shocked if the metallics are not for me, but definitely I would at least like to get some use out of the mattes. Then we have the Cara Beauty Capricorn palette, which I have used, I think once. Did I? or perhaps I've picked it up a couple times and never used it, because it looks like none of the shades actually have any use in them, but I would like to get some use out of these, so this is also on the docket this month. And then I have some indie stuff that I want to play with. So I have the Clarity Safari palette. This I ended up getting, I think, for free. I just had to pay shipping one of the days that they were running like a Black Friday sale. So hopefully I can get some good use out of this one. The color story kind of throws me for a loop a little bit. So this may be one that I need to combine with other things to make it a little bit more logical to use. But here it is. It almost no longer was. My goodness. Okay. And then I have the Nomad Hudson Valley palette. This is my other neutral palette for the month, and it's definitely like warm toned neutrally kind of things. Obviously the reds and oranges are not necessarily the things I'm the most excited for, but I do think the metallics in here look really pretty, and then I like the greens that are kind of like gray greens and then sort of the gray browns. So hopefully I can at least get some use out of this sort of 9-pan over here. Then we have the Fantasy Cosmetica Warlock palette, and this is a really beautiful palette. Although I've seen some criticisms that they feel like the mattes and the metallics don't necessarily go together in this palette, so I can definitely understand the sort of trepidation there, but I do think the color story, like the colors individually, are pretty, so hopefully in combination with some of the other things in my bundle for the month, I'll still be able to make this one work. And then my last warm tone thing to talk about is the Deandra Nicole and NBA Cosmetics Sunset Beach palette. And it looks like this. Such a beautiful palette. I love that it's like pinky purple corally kind of things, because even though it pools kind of warm here, I still feel like there's enough like colorfulness that it doesn't necessarily feel like warm tone neutral kind of thing, right? So I'm definitely looking forward to giving this one a try. I think this shade, whenever I've looked at it previously, it just looks a little bit like underwhelming, but everything else in here looks pretty nice. So hopefully that one is fun to play with. And then last, wow, I'm talking really fast today, sorry guys. The last one that I wanted to talk about was the Arrow inspired palette from Adept Cosmetics. And the colors in here look like this. This is a really beautiful like multi-chrome palette, so I'm definitely looking forward to giving this one a try, playing around with the colors. I think these sort of like blue tones mixed with all the greens in here are really pretty. I love that you have this kind of swampy and then more cooler undertones to the greens and browns in here, so hopefully that plus some of these other things will be a lot of fun to play with. Alright, and for now, that is the bundle that I'm going to be playing with for the month. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this fairly quick video. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!